morning and welcome to another edition of the Panthers Report as we talk all things Florida Tech athletics right here on the Mark Mosey Show. And it's now time to talk to this fine gentleman. Even though it's the offseason, it's still a busy time for him. He is the head soccer coach for the Panthers, Nick Robinson. Coach, how you doing today?
Good, man. Good. We just had our last spring game last night, so we got back pretty late, but kind of wrapped up last night with our last game. So looking forward now to the fall season and getting back into the championship mode.
All right, then I will ask this question: how did it go last night for the Panthers?
Positive and negative. We played two 60-minute games. First 60-minute game was against Florida Southern, which is obviously a familiar foe, conference opposition. We lost 2-0. It was a bit of a sluggish start. They scored 2 early goals, and then we got it together, played Daytona in the last 60 and won 3-0. And it was actually a really, really good performance in that second 60. So it was nice to finish off with the 3-0 win versus the 2-0 loss. So
you're absolutely right. When you go into one of these exhibitions here in the spring, is it one of those things where you have a blueprint? Okay, I want to try this, and this. I want to see the players. Like, because I know it doesn't count this time of year. Are you trying things when you're out there?
Yeah, so we've implemented a slightly different system this spring with in terms of formation with the players that we know that are coming back, and also being able to give an opportunity to put some guys that we want to make sure are ready to play in the fall. And so that's been a good indication for us. Again, it's more, yes, we want to win these games, like we always want to win, but at the same time, we're looking at the performance and asking questions of guys that didn't maybe get the opportunity in the fall of 26 and seeing if they're ready to to carry the torch and carry on the legacy that the guys have built over the last 3 or 4 years.
You guys made the NCAA tournament last fall. You had a great season. You fell short, though. Are you still thinking about next year? I'm sorry. I apologize. Last year? Or are you like, is it out of your mind and now you're looking towards this fall?
Yeah, look, it's one of those. I think when you finish off a season, it kind of goes one or two ways for me. Like, you feel like, so in 23, when we went to the Final Four, I felt like I felt like we were the better team. I felt like we deserved an opportunity to play in the national final. We lost on a last-minute penalty in the second of overtime. So you kind of finish the season, you're thinking, man, like, such a poor way, like, such an emotional way to finish the season that whereas last year, everything was in our favor, home court advantage. It's where you want to be. You get the first round bye, and then we were flat. It was a poor performance. We didn't deserve to win. We just didn't come out of the gates. There's so many things that we just didn't get right, and obviously that falls on all of us. And so you kind of, you finish that game thinking we didn't do enough to win this game. Whereas, again, you go back to 23, I felt like we did enough to deserve an opportunity, at least for it to go to penalties. And that definitely lingers with you for a little bit. But at the end of the day, you can look back and you can be like, hey, we weren't good enough today. So what do we need to do to make sure that we don't fall short in that situation again?
How many seniors did you lose from last year's team then?
So we graduated, I believe, 5 key players in December. We had some guys graduate in December, and then we have another 6 or 7, I believe, that graduate this spring. So we graduate some key guys. Shu obviously is probably the forefront of that. It was National Player of the Year for us in 23, and he's picked up every award that you can imagine. I think he's been a 3-time All-American, which I believe only him and Richard Sharp, who was, broke every record imaginable in the late 80s, are the only 2 guys ever to be 3-time All-American. So, anytime you lose someone like that, it's always going to be an uphill battle trying to not necessarily replace the player, but also the character and the leadership that he's been able to bring. So we lose some key pieces like that, but it's for us the last 3 or 4 years, it's always been next man up mentality. And we feel like we're always able to go out and bring in players that are ready to go immediately. So that's the plan. We're not, there's no looking back. It's just, how do we replace guys in different ways?
3-time All-American is all right. Are you helping this fine gentleman? I know he wants to continue his soccer career. What's the latest, coach?
Yeah, so he did. He had some opportunities, but a lot of the Norwegians, they love going back to Norway. They have a good life back there, and that they play and they have good jobs, and not many of them stay out. So I know he's back there in Norway now. He's got a good job, and he's happy playing. I think he's playing Division 2 or Division 3, which is a good level. But yeah, no, he definitely had the resume to continue playing, whether it was in the US, whether it was, abroad at a high level. But again, a lot of the kids that we get that come through Florida Tech, they're smart kids. They find themselves, they land good jobs really quickly. And that's, one of the benefits of going to a school like Florida Tech as well.
That's really cool. It's a great answer. And I wish luck to all your graduating seniors. So then the question is, Coach Robinson, how much recruiting are you doing right now to fill all these roster spots?
We're doing a lot. I think we have 19 returners and 13 new players coming in. So we're in a good place. We feel like we've targeted the type of personnel that we need, and the skill sets that we need to replace these guys. Obviously, we need some leadership, and we need to make sure we hit on the immediate impact guys that can come in and fill that void immediately. So we feel like we're in a good place. We've got a few loose ends to tie up, and then and hopefully we can get that done over this next 3 or 4 weeks.
I know I've asked you this before, but I want to reset. Like you said, 13 players, man. Again, you and your coaching staff, I gave you all the credit getting all these new student athletes. What type of student athlete are you looking for when you're there on the recruiting trail?
Yeah, so I mean, it's always one of the funny questions to answer, because at the end of the day, we need players that are going to help us win, right? And so you got to be good, and there's always that the jargon of you want good people, and yeah, we do. Like you have to be a good person, you have to be coachable, but at the end of the day, you have to have players that are going to help you win, and it's such a tough and competitive and grueling conference that you need both. You need guys that can play, guys that can compete. So obviously, the technical and the tactical side is extremely important. And then closely follows that is obviously you got to be a good person, you got to be a good teammate, you got to be willing to do the things that that help sacrifice your individual goals for the team goals, and that can be the challenge at times. But I think that's a part of managing the player throughout the season, and the expectations as soon as they come in, and just always being as transparent as you can be with them, so there's no disappointment if they feel like they're coming in and they should be playing 90 minutes. And I always think honesty is the best form. If you're transparent with them at the start of the year, and you let them know that it's the season's not 2 games, 3 games long, it's Wednesday, Saturday, and it's difficult to play 90 minutes of every game against some of the teams in our conference. So you need 18 to 20 players to try and make a deep run, and the quicker as an individual that you buy into that collectiveness, the better off you're going to be. So obviously those two parts, obviously tie into it. And then obviously, like I said before, with the academic side, it's not easy either. You got to make sure you're committed to the academic side at Florida Tech. It's hard. It can be grueling at times, especially if you're an engineer. So, typically you tick those 3 boxes, and you find that recipe for success at our university.
It's a great answer. We're here with Nick Robinson, head soccer coach there at Florida Tech. All right, you guys finished, like you said, final spring practice exhibition game. Now What's the game plan? Now what do we got to do, Coach? Is it now the off season, or what happens for the team?
Yeah, so we still have another couple of weeks of a bit of a lighter load. They'll still do their strength and conditioning workout plan to keep ticking over, and then we'll finish off with individual meetings. We'll still do a couple of sessions here and there just to make sure everyone is doing the right things, and then a lot. Well, we have exams obviously, so we try and give them a little bit of downtime towards that end of spring to make sure that anything they need to catch up on or anything they're behind on, and they can prepare as much as they need to. And that's the good thing about the spring, the non-championship spring season for us. It gives guys a chance to kind of not feel like it's foot to the gas every second, which it is when you get in the fall. It's just, it's 100 miles an hour as soon as they get in, and they get to, tear off a little bit in the spring, which is nice. And then we have a lot of guys that finish and play USL 2 in the summer. So it's a good opportunity for some of those guys to enhance their marketability and if they want to continue playing when they're done. So that's a good opportunity for them, and some go home and work individually. So that's a nutshell for us, and we just want to make sure that we're managing these guys over the summer, and they're staying healthy and they're staying fit and they're doing what they need to do to make sure that when they get back in the fall, it's not a catch up of fitness. The expectation is that they come in and they're at, I don't want to say an elite level of fitness. We obviously want to peak during the season, but they need to be at have a good foundation and make sure they're ready to go.
Did you tell them they have to root for Team England in the World Cup? Was that part of the off-season conditioning program? Was that it?
Part of it, yeah. It's well, we're in a bit of an interesting fabric right now with a bunch of our guys because we've always had 5, 6, 7 Italians, and they now third World Cup in a row they haven't made. So we've got a couple of guys that are a little bit depressed at the moment.
How does that even happen? Didn't Italy win the World Cup? I know I've seen this in my lifetime. How do you not even qualify? How's that possible?
They won the Euros not too long ago as well. So it's just it's a difficult one to comprehend with the level of quality that they've had over such a long period of time. To not make 3 World Cups in a row is definitely some questions obviously need to be asked there. But it's a difficult one to comprehend, to be honest.
All right, let's clarify this. Coach does not have any hookups at this time to help you get World Cup tickets. Are you on record to say this, Coach, for everyone watching?
Yeah, I wish I did. I wish I did.
I understand. I know. All right, Coach, I appreciate you stopping by, giving us an update on Florida Tech soccer. I hope you'll come back on maybe during the World Cup, and we'll get your insight.
That'd be great. Yeah,
that'd be awesome. And, hey, good luck for the next couple weeks with your team, all right?
Appreciate it, Mark. Thank you.